Hey, hey, how you guys doing? Give people a few minutes to come in. I was trying to get us on Facebook and I don't think Facebook likes me all that much. So just having some difficulty there. So I'm glad you guys could join me here. This is being recorded. We're gonna post it up in that Facebook group and it'll be all over. You'll get email and all of that. There's gonna probably be some good information you might want to refer back to, or you might want to take some screenshots of, or you might be old school like me and do notes in a notebook. That's usually how I track things. But thanks for joining me. Let me see who we have here. Awesome. Some familiar names and I don't really see your faces, so I can't say familiar faces. But guys, I'd love to hear where you're watching from Charlotte. Awesome. Thanks, Jonathan. And also, I'm curious to know what your experience has been with KDP. If you wouldn't mind sharing that a little bit, that'll help me know really where to focus in. But also, let's see, you should all have rights to share chat with everybody. Yep, there we go. North Carolina, Andrea, thanks. So we've been doing these 10 books in 10 days class for a few years now. I was trying to remember when we started, and I'm just going to be honest, the last probably 3 years for me have been a complete blur. And I know I'm not alone in that with everything that's been going on in our world. But so time is a little off, but I'm thinking it was about 6 years ago, maybe did the first 10 books in 10 days class. Maybe it wasn't quite that long ago. My daughter did it with me. She was like 15, I think, at the time. She had been publishing some books. She had wrote a book that was more a chapter book. And we started this 10 books in 10 days class. And honestly, I wasn't sure how many people would be interested in KDP at the time, but there's a huge interest. And it was one of the first trainings available at the time. Nobody was talking low content books and all of that. So anyway, it's been a fun journey. I am more convinced than ever that KDP is a strategy that you want to include in your business. And we'll talk about that and the value of that. But more and more, I just can't even. It's amazing to me what is available through this tool. So I'm excited to dig in with you guys. Um, Thank you. It's good to be back. I'll share a little bit of my story in a bit. Just want to make sure we get people in from Idaho. Love Idaho. Been to Caldwell. In fact, that was part of our Gene, it would have been fun to see you. I think we went through there when we left Oregon and hit the road a couple years ago. New Zealand. Nice. Texas. Yes, Linda. Thank you for joining me. California, that's my home state. Yep. Awesome. Okay. So, I love hearing where you guys are from. That's always so amazing to me, honestly, the technology today and what we can do and how we can create community from around the world. How many of you guys have published a book or more, one or more books on KDP? Let's see where you are on that. Um, One you think? Is it published? Is it in review? Been a while? A bunch, awesome. One. Okay, so you guys have a little bit under your belt, but maybe you'll learn something new. Maybe something will, if you've watched what I've shared before, maybe something will you'll hear it differently this time. There's definitely some new things that have come up and not published. Awesome. Husband did the tech part, great. Low content and a chapter book. Nice. Two different monsters there, I suppose. All right. Thanks, guys. Also, I would love to hear, that's kind of weird, but we're going to use this later. What are your hobbies? And maybe what do you do for a living, or what would you like to be doing for a living? What would you do if you were retired? Those types of things. I would love to hear more about that, learn more about you guys, but we're also going to use that later when we dig in a little bit. So you guys can put that in the chat. I'm going to get my screen ready and make sure that we don't have any technical issues from anybody asking questions. So just give me 1 second and we'll get going. All right. It's amazing to me how I don't know if it's Murphy's Law or what, but how everything's fine until you start trying to share it. So let's see how this goes. Flowers and bird watching. Okay, let me share here. All right, everything looks good on my end, but I want to make sure you guys can see my screen. Bible study, Bible memory. Pickleball. Massage therapist. Nice. Wonderful. Okay. So today we're gonna talk about how Kindle Direct Publishing, that's KDP, can impact your business. Now, back years ago when we did the 10 books in 10 days, we were only talking about low content and it was more a volume selling. It was getting a bunch of books out easily and quickly. That's why it was 10 books in 10 days. And the idea was I wanted to show the people who attended how easy that was to do, how you could get 10 books done in 10 days. Things morphed along the way, and I'm kind of circling back a little bit because some things have changed and become more available to us in the KDP platform. So I'm going to come back to the chat. I want to ask you guys, if you have questions, can you just put them in the Q&A? Because I'd like to be interactive in the chat and I might miss your questions. So if you have questions, put them in the Q&A. We'll get to them at the end. And then thank you for sharing in the chat. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Anyway, I'm kind of excited here because honestly, and this is, your typical marketing question, I suppose. A lot of presentations start with this, if I could show you something that could bring you $500 or $1,000 or $5,000, something that you can get started without any experience. You don't have to have any products or services to sell, okay? You don't have to go buy anything at the store and ship it in anywhere. You don't have to have an audience to sell to. You don't have to ask your friends or your family to buy things from you. There's not really any risk other than time, maybe a little bit of money, depending on the route that you go. Again, don't have to ship anything, zero out-of-pocket expenses, and you could make $500 to $1,000 or $5,000 doing that in a short period of time. Now, there's different models we'll talk about. Is that something you'd be interested in? Now, I hear that and I think, well, yeah, but I know where you're going because this is how people start their presentations. And I go back and forth. Do I want to start talking about that? But I kind of did this time. I don't usually go there. I kind of do my own thing and don't stick to what the gurus are doing in their marketing. And the reason the reason I did go there this time was because I think that KDP has been around long enough. A lot of you guys have published books, but my next question maybe should be, have you made any money from the books? And there's a lot of ways to do that. KDP has become saturated, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, but we think, oh, it's saturated, I don't want to do that. That is not the case. There's so many ways to use KDP to generate income and quickly. And all of you guys who have really already learned, who's just gone through the process, even if it was painful, to get a book published on KDP, and again, we're going to dig into this deeper. You already have this know-how, you have this skill that's marketable, and you can use that to generate income very quickly. Within a week or two, you guys could easily get $5,000 in a partnership. We'll talk a little bit about that, okay? Getting books to generate income takes a little bit more work, and that's why I have been looking at other ways to generate income with KDP. However, the tide has turned and I'm really excited. Okay. But let me talk a little bit. Let me just introduce myself. Some of you guys, I don't recognize your names. I recognize a lot of you, but my name is Jenny Hunt. I started selling on, actually it was Amazon years ago. I'm trying to think of when it was. It might've been 2000, 2001. It was when you could only sell books. It's all they had was books. There was no FBA. We were selling, had every book we could find listed on Amazon that looked like it would sell. And basically you just listed it there. And then, when somebody bought it, you put it in a mailer and shipped it out. And money was tight. I think we had our second on the way, our second child. And that's what we were trying to do to generate some income. And it was okay, but then it wasn't really enough. And so I went and my second child was born and we got a stroller. We used to buy our kids gear always at garage sales. It's not worn very much. It was cheap. And so I bought this double stroller. It was like a sit and stand stroller. And it didn't really work for us. And so I thought, I'm going to try selling this on eBay. That was the big site at the time. And so I did, and it sold. I bought it for $15 and it sold for over $100, and I was hooked. So that was kind of the beginning of my journey back in 2000, end of 2002, early 2003. I trained underneath some power sellers on eBay, learned a ton, and then I burned out with two little kids. We didn't have all the tools you have today. So I burned out pretty bad, but I knew it was still viable. I just really didn't want to do it anymore. It was taking over my home. And but I knew how to find what sold, and I knew how to sell it for a profit. And so I sold my research. That's kind of how I shifted. And I came across Jim Cockrum's book, The Silent Sales Machine. At the time, it was called The Silent Sales Machine, hiding on eBay. It was, I think, his first version of the book. And that just got me thinking differently about my business. The eBay was a tool. Okay. So anyway, let me back up a little bit. My family here, this was in 2021, January. I was trying to find a more current picture, but we decided to sell our house in Oregon and hit the road and move. And so we bought an RV trailer, travel trailer, and a truck. Sold a lot of our stuff, put a lot of it in storage, had it shipped out to Texas because we figured we would end in Texas or we'd end up in Missouri. Those were kind of our two places we were looking at. And but we wanted to travel and really figure that out. And so this was when we were picking up our trailer and ready to hit the road. We traveled for about 10 months, and it was not it was not easy. If you want to hear the bad side and all the hard things that happen on an adventure like this, um reach out to me because I'll share. There's some great things. We had some, I was just going through some old pictures, and we had some great experiences, but ultimately it was difficult. And I'll tell you, it ended, and we kind of hit a new stride in November of 2021 when our truck was totaled and in Branson. And so we got kind of stranded for about 7 months while we dealt with insurance. And now we're in Northwest Arkansas. We decided to stay. So that was where the accident was. It was in Branson. We decided to stay. We've been here then since, well, decided to stay in June of 2022. So it's almost 2 years. And that's where we are right now. And the beauty was in this picture, two of my oldest was out of high school, but my younger two were still in high school. We were homeschooling, so we could have the freedom to travel, and my business allowed us to travel. And but it was a very challenging time. So the last year and a half has been trying to actually build back momentum, because I lost a lot of momentum because of the drama that we experienced on the road. It was much harder to work, just find space, really. It wasn't that what I was doing was difficult. It was finding that space was difficult. So I've spent the last year and a half building up momentum again in my business and really focusing in on KDP, because I think there's so much value there. And that's where we're going to dig in. I will say, a lot of you know my story. And just 6 months ago, my husband, he suffered 2 heart attacks within a week. And so he's still in recovery of that, which is, again, motivated me even more to get to really grow what I've been building for years. And it's been, one thing that's beautiful about working from home is you can put more time and grow, or you can pull back if you need to. And, raising kids while you're doing that has allowed me the freedom. So that's a little bit about where I come from, but I still love a good road trip. I'm a little bit burned out on it, but we're eager to get to the coast sometime soon. And that will be a bit of a road trip from Arkansas. But anyway, I had said back in 2002, 2003, I had started selling on eBay. I burned out. And later in the late 2003, I started selling my research, and I wrote a book. This was my first book, Secrets to Profitable Auctions. It was not published on KDP. That wasn't even a thing. Create Space, none of that was even a thing. It was just an ebook. I think I have it somewhere, but all of the principles are probably the same, but a lot of the strategies are completely outdated. It was focused on eBay, and but that got me started. A friend of mine, a mentor, had said, you need to get a book underneath your belt. It'll give you more credibility and all these things. And she was absolutely right. Since then, of course, I've done a lot more. These are just a few things that we've published. These are books these two here, Sweet Spot Revenue, is kind of my story in business and the lessons I've learned along the way. And I love a good brainstorm and to help people understand what they can do with what they know or their experiences and turn that into income. So 29 ways to repurpose what you know into income. These are all on KDP. On Purpose is a workbook that I created, also on KDP, is available as a paperback, and these other books as well. So these two, The Fighting with Armor, are my daughter's books that she's written. It's a right now 2-book series. But guys, these are real books. They're real paperback books. They're decent quality. They're not your mass-produced newspaper thin pages. You can do color interior. You can do whatever. These are all real books, right? And a couple that I have, you can get proofs. You can do glossy, all these things. There's so many options. And the thing is, a lot of people, they don't realize how easy this is to do. KDP, it is a self-publishing platform. In fact, we're going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about how we can unleash this power. And I'll share a little bit of how things have changed, because since some of you guys have been following for a long time. Shane, I see your question. Are things going to get easier? Opposite from Amazon experience, I'm all ears for new ways to use this channel. I'm so excited because I hear and I feel your pain as an Amazon seller, let me just say. And I'm not sure that I would say things have gotten easier necessarily. They've just shifted and opened up more opportunities. All right, so we're going to dig into that. Okay, you can publish in multiple languages. I'm not well, we'll talk about that. But would you mind putting that in the Q&A so I can get to it at the end? That's a great question. Okay, remember, the thing about KDP is you can get started without any experience. My daughter, when she was 12, we were homeschooling, and that's when I first started teaching and talking about, at the time it was Create Space. I started talking about how you could use it, and she's like, Mom, I want to learn how to do this. And I said, okay, we'll get to it. And finally, because we didn't get to it, she said, just give me your password. I'm going to learn myself. And she did. She created an adventure journal and published it all by herself. Totally learned the process. She'd ask me a couple questions, but you can do this without experience. You do not need any products or services to get started. You don't have to go buy things and ship them in anywhere or list them. Okay. You don't have to sell anything to your friends or your family. You can do this without an audience. You can make money from this without an audience. There's no risk. There's a couple strategies that do involve a little bit of capital, a little bit of money, but not all of them do. And the only risk there, really, the only investment I should say, is your time. This is no out-of-pocket expenses. You don't have to ship anything. I don't know about you. With FBA, it makes it easier, but I was shipping everything. This is why I burned out. I was shipping everything from home. I was going to the post office with all my packages in a stroller. I had a newborn and a toddler. It was crazy. None of that. You don't have to do any of that. It's so beautiful. But I will say, when people think of Kindle, they think of, or KDP, they hear Kindle Direct Publishing. That's what that stands for. They think of the e-reader. And the thing that's amazing is, and honestly, most people do not know this. Sometimes it's easy to get into this Amazon bubble. And if you really, honestly, most people don't even know there's third-party sellers on Amazon. So they're not, and they certainly don't know about this, but we get in this bubble and we think everybody knows these things, and they don't. KDP is not just Kindle for the Kindle Reader, it's also for paperback, hardcover. They don't do spiral. There's other platforms that do, but they do paperback and hardcover. And now they have this other thing that I want to play with a little bit. I forget what it's called. It starts with a V. I just drew a blank, but it's basically a series where you write one chapter and publish one chapter at a time digitally. So that's all digital, but that's a whole nother world. We're going to focus in on paperback. All right. And the reason is, one, it's free. There's no out-of-pocket costs. And two, it opens doors regarding credibility and value. Okay. So we'll dig into that a little bit more. But KDP, again, it stands for Kindle Direct Publishing. It's Amazon's print-on-demand self-publishing platform. Now, print-on-demand is really important because that's what makes it so that you don't have any out-of-pocket expenses and you don't have to ship anything and all of that. Because it's on Amazon's platform, they do all of that. All you need to do is get your cover and your interior pages completed and upload them to their platform, fill out a couple things, and hit publish. and then they create your listing. It's free. They create the listing, and the way that you make money and the way they get paid is when a customer buys the book, Amazon creates it to order, and they take their cut and they send you a royalty. All right. So that's why you do end up paying for it, but it comes out of the sale. So there's nothing out up front, and there's no out of pocket. And that is the beauty of print on demand. And that opens up a lot of doors because you don't have to carry a bunch of inventory. All right. Okay. Sorry, just checking in. Okay. So why KDP? KDP, I mean, honestly, it's Amazon's platform. And so Amazon is where the customers are. Most people, when they're going to go shopping, they go to Amazon, especially book related, they go to Amazon. And there's no inventory costs. Like I said, there's no long account approval process. There's more opportunities to use KDP because Amazon favors it. Zero out-of-pocket expenses, like I said. I used to have on this list that there was no cap on the number of books that you can publish. They have since put a cap on. It's not too bad. It's you can publish 3 books a day. So that's almost 100 books a month. And honestly, that's hard to keep up with unless you have a real good system in place. But it's not, I think that I'm not sure why they did that. They did that, I think, last November. But my guess is that with AI and all of these tools and a lot of attention towards low content books, they made it so you can only publish 3. All right. One thing I really want to drive home, and I try to bring this up all the time, is just to remind you, KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, it's a tool for your business, just like Amazon is a tool, okay? When I learned that eBay was a tool for my business, it completely shifted the way that I thought about my business, the way I planned for my business, and it allowed me to grow bigger than that platform because I wasn't just thinking about what I could sell. It was more, how can I use eBay to grow my income and to grow my business? All right. So that's what I look at. And I look at KDP. How can I use KDP to grow my business? And honestly, you should be looking at everything that way in your business, whether you're doing the replens model or wholesale, if you're an Amazon seller, or even just e-commerce, if you're even if you're doing coaching, and you're a service-based business, the platforms and the all, Facebook, all of that. We don't say we have a Facebook business, but I use Facebook a lot for my business. It's a tool that I use to grow my business. Okay. So think about this. You are getting a new tool today to put into your tool belt that will generate income for you and help you grow your business. Okay, we're going to dig into, I have so much to cover. I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute, but I will get to questions. We're going to dig into 5 ways to use KDP, okay? And then what I want to do is show you how to find books in the book ideas and how to validate ideas. So 5 ways to use KDP: brand building. I'm going to touch on these briefly. Bundling. You can leverage for printables, partnering, and then just producing the low and mid content books. My focus is low content and mid content books for all of these strategies. And we'll talk about that a little bit. Brand building, just to give you a little bit of an idea of what that is. This is 4 books, and they're obviously all branded the same. They're very similar, but they're different, right? They're focusing on different states and how to grow great vegetables in those states. My guess is if I was to buy these books, they would be very similar on the inside. And the only things that would really be changed would be things that were related or specific to that state, right? That book is about. So this is a beautiful way to use something like KDP. I don't know that if these books are published on KDP or not, but they could be. And so this is a really great example. Along with brand building, there's a little marketing trick. I will mention it here. I don't have it in the slides, but my courses, a lot of them dig deeper into how to do this. I strongly believe that every business should have at least 1 KDP book, okay? And not necessarily to make money from that book in the front end, but to use it again as a tool to build their audience and to make money on that back end. Let me explain. Terms of service, there's a lot of rules in place with Amazon where you can't really pull people off of Amazon and try to really grow your own. You don't have really a lot of access to that customer. With KDP, there is some prime real estate that you can put on your pages there that says, it gives them an incentive to come to your website and join your mailing list. Okay. And it's fully within Amazon's terms of service. So for example, let me see if I have my workbook here. Thought I did. I have stacks of books to show you guys, but of course, oh, here it is. Okay, so I have this workbook. I don't know if you can see it there in the window. Let me stop my share for a second. I have this workbook, okay? It's an on-purpose workbook. It's about figuring out what it is you know that's valuable for a market, where there's a market that you can generate income around your knowledge. Okay, they're a little blurry, I think, because I'm not in front of the camera. There we go. On that front page here, this is not the best example, but it is an example. Join the community, and I have a link. What it should say is something like get your blueprints. And I think one of them does. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. This is a better one. Examples. 29 ways to repurpose what you know into income. And on that title page here, can you see it? Is it blurry? I'm trying to get it not blurry. Well, trust me, right here it says download my free blueprint, and there's a link, buildyourinecomestreams.com. So, excuse me. What happens is when you go to Amazon, you all know this, and you're thinking about getting a book. They used to have that little look inside icon or image at the top. They don't have that anymore. Now it says read sample. When you go to the sample page as an author or a publisher, you don't get to choose which pages are shown. But they always show the title page. That is prime real estate to use to try to harness, I'm trying to get my slides back up, to try to harness Amazon's traffic. That's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. So you build a brand, you have 4 books that are pretty simple to produce in that they're very similar, with some things that are changed based on the state here. And you're using that front page there to harness and to get Amazon's traffic. The thing is, you can get people to sign up. I get people to signing up to download my blueprint. They might not ever buy my book. I don't really care. It doesn't cost me anything to have that listing up on Amazon. It's great if they buy my book, but they can come and get the blueprint for free. Now they're on my mailing list, and I have an opportunity to build a relationship with them and generate sales on that back end. Okay, so this is just, I kind of went a little deeper than I wanted to, but this is brand building, okay? Using KDP as a tool to build a brand. And it's extremely powerful in that way. Another way to use KDP is with bundling. If you're already a seller on Amazon, this opens up a lot of doors. So here's just a quick example. This is a cake pop kit. And honestly, this is an old image that I took, and I don't know if this is even on Amazon anymore, but oh, that's funny. So this is, they have 2 books in here, right? So one thing you could do is make a cake pop kit. Let's say that 10 times fast. Make a cake pop kit. And you can also have a cookbook that is a KDP paperback book. Okay. And so you have your kit, you have a book, and you bundle them together. Now, what this means is you do have to buy the book to put with your bundle so that you are sending it into Amazon as one unit. So in this case, there is shipping involved, there is buying your book. But if you're already selling on Amazon, this is a great way to be able to sell products that you might not otherwise be able to sell. Okay, let's say these numbers, they're not exactly accurate, obviously, but if you had, well, I mean, an example would be, and I'll go through this example in a minute, but I had found these cake pans, and there was a set of 2 or 3, and they were $5. I thought they would sell well. It was before I could search online and see whether things were selling from my phone. So I bought them, and it turned out they were only selling for like $10 or $11 on Amazon, and that wasn't enough to make a profit. However, I had my daughter go and gather recipes to make a cookbook that was focused on anything that you could use these springform pans. That's what they were, just different recipes. And so we had ice cream cakes and bean dips and cheesecakes and all these things you could use a springform pan for. And so we had the book, we had the springform pans. Putting those together, now our listing could be sold for $25 or $30. The book by itself could be $20. The pans by themselves sell for 10 or 11. My costs were less than $10. It was $4 for the book, $5 for the pans. So I got $9, but I could sell it for 25, 30 bucks. So that's the idea with bundling. It allowed me to have a product that I couldn't sell before. Now I could because of the value that the book brought. Okay. So that's the idea here. So the price here, this was $35 at the time. And I would just say the cake pop products, if they were sold by themselves, would be $20. The books, maybe they're 15 on their own listing on Amazon. Okay, these are not KDP books. Baketivity is its own brand, but for the sake of the example, the cost of goods for creating a book, and obviously they have two here, but if you just did one book, your cost would be about $4 or $5 for something like this, a cookbook. And then the cake pop products, maybe they're $5 wholesale. I mean, they just have bags, stickers, and little, I don't know, little sticks. I don't know what the brown things are, but maybe it's $5. So your cost of goods is $10 for this bundle, but you could sell it for 35. That book gives you credibility for a higher price point. People are going to go look at the book listing and go, "Oh my gosh, that book is $15." That means I'm only paying this much for everything else. It gives you price credibility, and it just allows you to get an extra listing also. So a lot of people don't realize when they do something like this. My parents did this when they were selling on Amazon. They had a grilling barbecue cookbook that they did, and it was a bundle, and they were shocked that the book was selling and creating an income stream in addition to the bundle that they had. All right. So that's another way you can use KDP. Printables is a third way, and printables are pretty cool. So if you're creating low content books, which we'll get into more detail of that in a minute, they're going to be things that don't have a lot of content on them, worksheets, things like that. You can take your interior pages. It's a PDF file. You can sell that on Etsy, and it's 20 cents for a 3-month listing. All right. This allows you to leverage what you're already doing in your KDP books. Just take that interior file, and for 20 cents, you can create a listing on Etsy. This came from a friend of mine, actually it was a student who introduced this idea to me. And when it really stuck to when I really understood was when he got me on and showed me this nursing student who had handwritten her notes from nursing school and was selling, she had scanned them and was selling PDF versions of them. And it was like 6 or 8 months, she had her store open for 6 to 8 months when I first saw her store, and she had done over $500,000 in sales just selling handwritten nursing school notes. She was making more money than she would as a nurse. So just now she's grown quite a bit and offers other things along in that same market. But it's the power of a PDF. You don't have to have it doesn't have to be handwritten nursing school notes. It can be worksheets and planners, all kinds of things that are low content that you can also leverage. You can have it in 2 places on Etsy. All right, another way you can use KDP is with partnering, and this is my favorite. This is where I go. If you want to make $5,000 in the next month, go find someone that you can help by creating a book for their business. So here's some ideas. We've got a fitness instructor, a realtor, or a therapist. There are things that you can do. Just thinking, if you have a friend who's in any of these markets, ask them what kind of information is valuable for your clients. And would it benefit you to have a branded low content book that's on Amazon? So if I'm looking at 2 therapists, for example, and all things are created equal, and one of them has a book published on Amazon, even if it's a prompted journal or a gratitude journal or something along those lines, that is going to tell me that they're more credible. I know that's silly, but it is what it is. So I'm going to choose them. Okay. That's the power of a KDP book. Plus, they can harness Amazon's traffic and grow, globally instead of just locally. And there's room for that for all 3 of these niches. There's lots of other markets as well. So just finding out, when people find out that you can create a low content book that's branded for them and publish it on Amazon, when they start understanding the self-publishing, print on demand, all of that is not traditional publishing, it opens up a lot of doors. And so when I do this with a partner, I usually charge it depends on the book, but I charge about $5,000. And I ask for half up front, half on the back end. They provide the content. Usually I'm doing a little bit of reworking, I'm formatting it and whatnot, or my team is. And every client I've had has paid me all of it up front, instead of doing half and half. And it's just been a great experience. I love working with people this way. And it's an incredible way to generate good size income for work you could outsource most of the work. So there's we go deeper into that, but let's stick on the high level so that we can kind of set that foundation. Finally is low content and mid content books. I use both of these terms now. I didn't even know if mid content is a thing. When I started talking about low content, it wasn't really a phrase or a word that people used. But now Amazon has in their platform, when you're publishing a book, they ask you, is this a low content book? And they tell you how they define it, and they define it differently than I did. And so it causes some confusion. So now I have low and mid content. I kind of put them all together. Okay. So, hey, Shane, could you put your question in the Q&A? Just click on Q&A and then I can get to it. I want to make sure that I see that, and I'm afraid it might get lost. So low and mid content books. Let's just start here. Absolutely no writing needed. Okay. Now, I'm not going to get into AI strategies. Of course, there's options there. They also, KDP asks you if your book was AI generated or if it was AI assisted. And you have to let them know if it was generated by AI. I don't think that hurts you at all. I think they're gathering information, but either way, no writing needed. Okay. You don't have to be a writer. And you really don't even have to be a creative. You can let the data do the work for you. Here's some examples. And honestly, this is just getting started. When you really start thinking and niching down, I mean, these are kind of these high level examples, then the doors just open, right? So workbooks, journals, cookbooks would be what Amazon would consider a mid-content book. A tracking book, like a fitness tracker, um, you know, a nutritionalist, maybe they have some sort of tracker, a manual for something, doodle books, those are fun. Medical tracking. When my husband got home from the hospital, my goodness, was it overwhelming to manage his medicine. He was on, I don't know, 20 to 30 meds and taking at different times, and then they would switch them. And I mean, it was crazy. And he's tracking his blood pressure and his blood sugar and weight and all those things, right? So a medical tracking journal for the diabetic or for anybody, even for newborns, when you're wanting to make sure they're getting enough milk, all that stuff. So there's lots of opportunity underneath that. Prompted or guided journals are really popular right now. I mentioned a gratitude journal. I would say might be overdone, but you just want to niche down deeper. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Prompt books, something like a comic book. So you have like the frames of a comic book done, but the person fills in the story and writes the story and draws the pictures, right? A music prompt book would be for someone to write music. Maybe it's just a book of the staff, music staff. A tip book, something with just a bunch of tips for I don't know, snacks for toddlers, right? Also a quote, something that just has quotes, movie quotes. You could get, quotes about certain things. You could even do dad joke books, right? Activity books are great. My son just, we're in the process of publishing books that he's doing. I don't have one up here with me, but they're preschool cutting practice and tracing practice books. But they don't have to be for kids. Activity books could be crosswords, they could be all kinds of things, and how-to guide and also handwriting practice. Lots of different things and ways that you can serve customers with mid and low content books. My favorite thing to do is to go to, okay, this isn't my favorite thing, but in this niche, I love taking people to go to Barnes and Noble. When I'm at a conference or something like that, I always try to get people to meet me at a Barnes and Noble and just walk through with a new filter, like these with glasses on, that where they're looking for low content and mid content books. And honestly, 2/3 to 3/4 of the books that are in a store like Barnes and Noble are low content or mid content books. Once you start, you could go and spend an hour there. And I highly encourage you do this and actually just take pictures of the books that I do this all the time. My phone has all kinds of pictures in it of books that I found. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I wonder if there's a market for that. And it just opens up your eyes to think even bigger. Okay. So these are some ideas for low and mid content books. Let me see if I can get to your questions. Um, okay, actually, I'm going to get to those questions at the end. They're good questions, but they're going to be, I might answer them along the way. So okay, I still want to focus in on these low content books. And when I started, I mentioned this at the beginning, when I started the digging into KDP more and started to teach it, and the 10 books in 10 days class, we were focused in on the low content books and volume selling because you can do research. We're going to talk about that, but and get find out where there's demand and what books people are looking for, the types of books they're looking for. But people really do judge a book by its cover, and you can create a cover that you think is amazing. You can get some feedback, but your book might not be selling just because of the cover. And so the idea with the 10 books in 10 days was you create 10 books that are identical, but the covers are different, and you gather data that way because you've got to somehow get data from it. And the only way to do that is to publish them and see if there's any response, right? If people are buying them, you can't, I mean, in some ways you can collect some data with purple or, that there's maybe if it's an elephant journal, there's an elephant on it, but you don't really know if that's going to be what is going to connect emotionally with the customer base. Okay, so back off, and now that got completely saturated. It was really difficult to get that kind of data because of all the books that are being published, lined journals, and all of this. And what has happened this last month is let me just say, I've been looking for years. I know that using ads really help you get the data that you need to make better decisions, to know where to focus your time and what to do more of and what to do less of. We use that with Amazon. We would run ads to find more keywords, to find what's selling and sell more of that. Without having to find additional keywords that people are what they're using to find your product. The ads don't have to run long term, they run short term to get you some momentum. Well, KDP for a long time didn't have an ads program, but then they put one in and it was super clunky. And a few of my friends who are complete data geeks, and I am not, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, how are you able to get any data from the KDP ads? And they worked with it, and they couldn't get consistent results. I tried, I couldn't get consistent results. I have a couple of my students who did really well, but I couldn't, we never really connected to find out how they were doing that. And so I didn't feel the last year or so, I've kind of backed off a bit from pushing the value of just producing low content books and focusing on those other ways that I shared with you, partnering and bundling and leveraging with KDP and what was the other one? I'm sorry, leveraging with Etsy and brand building. They work. KDP is an amazing tool, but this particular thing kind of was going into the back burner until this last month. I finally found somebody who has a proven strategy to use ads to generate income, significant income, from low content books. And we have the same philosophy. We got on the call and Zoom call, and we talked, and we're like, what a breath of fresh air to talk to someone who understands that KDP is a tool. So anyhow, I'm super excited to focus here again because it's easy. It's not difficult. So I want to talk really about low content and mid content books and how just what they are. We're going to dig in a little bit more, how you can generate some income and where to start. And like I said before, those other strategies, the bundling, the partnering, the brand building, and leveraging on other platforms, I highly recommend using the low content or mid content book model. You can write a longer book if you want. You can work with people who write a longer book, and you would still apply these same strategies to those books. Okay. But these are easy to generate. They don't take a lot of time. And so that's where we're going to focus. So anyway, back to the low content books. This is an example. This is a book. It's called Interesting Facts for Smart Kids, 1,000+ fun facts for curious kids and their families. The whole book looks like this. This is just the first 9. It gets to over 1,000. The whole book looks like that. It's got just facts for kids that, like, it's impossible to lick your own elbow. This has 708 ratings, which means it sold a lot more than that. But those people decided to leave a review. And they're selling it for $11.60. This book, last I had checked, which was a little while ago, was averaging almost $2,000 a month. So here's what's really cool. Whoever created this book, and I don't know if it's KDP, you could certainly create a book like this on KDP. Whoever created this, if they did it on KDP, they created it once. They made their interior pages. They maybe did some research to find facts and put them in there, and made a cover, put it all on the KDP platform, hit publish, and they have been generating, without doing anything more, $1,984 a month. I should say, I don't know if they've run ads or not run ads, but this is how much they're generating in sales. So there are some things we don't know, but the time to create a book like this is not very long, and the opportunity is huge. So the low risk is super low. Here's another example of a low content book. This is a workout log book that is currently on Amazon. And this is what the pages look like on the inside. Every page is the same. So that would be a low content book. That's how one of the criteria Amazon or KDP says is a low content if every page is the same and it's something they fill in. This book sells for $4.99 and it's 200, it makes like 205 or something dollars a month. Okay, so that might not be like, okay, a couple $100 a month. Well, I'm sorry, most people could benefit from a couple $100 a month, especially when after that book is published, you don't have to do anything else again. Okay, it just works for you month after month. So it's passive income. Another book, just to give some examples, this is A Lifetime of Memories. Where were you born? Can you recall any family stories? It's just telling the family stories. Maybe it doesn't say if it's for a mother, or grandmother, or father, or anything like that, but it's just capturing those memories. Those are really popular. A mileage book, these are just some ideas. The 1-minute gratitude journal. So I said gratitude journals they're really saturated, but if you can niche, like this one is a 1-minute gratitude journal. It's a little bit different. Here's that comic. This is what I meant by that comic book prompt. So it has these fun, zap, smack, those types of things, but there's no picture or story. So whoever's going through it has to fill in the story. It's kind of a fun thing. Handwriting practice paper. There's so many, guys. Keto diet journal for beginners. This is what the pages look like on the inside. IBD food journal. This is what those pages look like on the inside. I think that's a duplicate. Yep. Another fitness log, a weightlifting gym buddy journal. Now, obviously this one is not, I'm going to say it's not KDP. It's got a ribbon bookmark. It's got the elastic, but it's okay. It still could be created in KDP, this type of a book. 52-week mental health journal. It's just some questions, prompts, walking you through 52 weeks of mental health. And that would work in that partnering, right? With a therapist. You could ask them, what are some 52 weeks of questions, or, that's just an idea. They probably already have something that they have for their clients to walk through. It's just not published. This would be great with a realtor. It is deluxe home maintenance log. Organized schedule journal planner for home maintenance repairs and upgrades. 12 years of records. Okay. 1149.68. All right. Does anybody have any questions about what a low content book is? Because I want to move on to how do you find what book to do? Like, where's the demand? How do you find all of that? And okay, let's go ahead and get to your question. So where do you design or format your books? I use Canva, and my background is more in graphic design. I used to be all in the Adobe products and all of that. And honestly, Canva is just quick and sweet. It's just easy. There's things it doesn't do well, but it's just always improving, and it does what I need it to do. Some people use PowerPoint. Anything that you can download as a PDF. So if you can export it or download as a PDF, you can create a book there. Okay. And of course you need to be able to resize it. But that's what I use. I use Canva. Let's see here. Publishing in another language. So you can publish in different languages. You can search you can search KDP to see what that list is. It's like 10 different countries where their books are published, but you should be able to publish in another language. There's a an area where you say that it's a different language. And I think as long as that's clear on the listing, it just might be that you sell it on the .com, even though it's a different language, which is fine. Okay, let me mark these off. For the partner one, what structure do you use? Publish under your account, make an account for them. How does the revenue split happen? I'll answer the quick way. I have a whole course on this because there's a lot of different ways you can do it. But it used to be that KDP's terms of service was that you could not access, it was against their terms to log into somebody else's account, to share your account. Now they say they don't recommend it. So, but before I didn't feel comfortable breaking that rule. And so I would have it be published, the books published on their account, my partners instead of mine. And I walk through, I have a form where I have all of the fields that are asked for in KDP. So the title, subtitle, author, description, keywords, categories, all of those things are listed on this form that I made, and I fill all of that in, I send it to them, and then we get on a Zoom call, and they literally just copy and paste, and I'm walking them through on their account. So there's no wall between the banking and the KDP side. Getting your book, like in Seller Central, if you're selling on Amazon, you can have different levels of people having access to your account. So you can have a team. They don't have that with the KDP dashboard. So I'm just a little uncomfortable with that. So I would prefer they do it on their account there and walk them through that way. Some people do it on their own account, which that's totally doable as well. You can be the middleman. So you then are selling them books wholesale to your client, which allows you to make a recurring income on each book. Okay. So you could say every book you buy is $5 and you might be paying for. The problem I have with that, and this isn't really a problem for everybody, but for me, you need an exit strategy. So what if next year I don't want to do that anymore? And here these people have their books, I have to pay them every month, their royalties. What if I don't want to do that anymore? What's my exit strategy? It's harder to exit out of that than it is if it's on their account. So I charge more on the front end, and I don't make money on the recurring books because I don't publish on my own account. Okay. I publish my books, but I don't publish my partners. So hopefully that helps answer. And then you can set up, again, the revenue split however you want if it's on your account. If it's on theirs, I do $5,000, and then they can do whatever they want once it's on their book, their account. Hopefully that answered your question, Shane. I do have a course on partnering. If you're interested in that, you can reach out and I will share it with you. I've been in the massage bodywork therapy field for over 15 years. Definitely like to learn how to monetize my experience some, but not sure how. Hopefully this will help you actually, Rob. I think that being in that space, so what you want to be thinking about is what do your clients need as far as information? If you were giving them a worksheet or something along those lines, what would help them have? And then you can use that as a starting point for KDP. Hopefully what we do next might also open up some ideas for you. Okay, this is good. Shane, have a challenge with notebooks not staying laying open very well. Spiral would be better, but KDP doesn't have that, especially once you get deeper into the book. It's hardcover better for this. Hardcover, it could be. So hardcover is, I have one, but it's way over there and I don't want to grab it for you, but it's like they wrap a plastic. So I think you only have glossy option. You might have matte, and it's rolled under the inside cover. There's another paper there. It might lay flat for you. Honestly, I think the biggest issue is the size. So I have these workbooks. I always do square. 8.5 by 8.5 is what this is. So it fits on a bookcase. It's not wider than 8.5. And for it, it pretty much, it'll lay flat. You can open it up. So I think it depends, this is going to work better for that than something like this. This size is not going to lay flat this size will. And you can do custom sizes on KDP. There's other platforms that do spiral. Lulu is one of them, but you don't get the advantages of being on Amazon's platform. They do integrate, but there's a like 6-week time period or something. I forget the exact 6 weeks or 3 months before they will get your book on KDP. So that's another option as well. All right. Does marketing play a huge part of your sales? Or I don't really do any marketing, but the ads will be marketing that we'll talk about a little bit more later. So the ads, especially with low content books, will help you gain more information so that you're tapping into the client needs better. So here's my thing, guys. The way I view things is you can do testing on the front to customer market research, basically, to see where the need is, right? And the more you do, the more opportunity you have for success. The more opportunity you have that you're hitting the mark, that you're solving a problem. That's really what you want to be doing with your books. You want to be solving a problem. So what problems do the people have? And if you don't care and you're looking at any niche, you're just really looking for problems and you want a book that's going to solve that. So if I'm struggling with managing my maintenance and keeping track of everything on my house, a log is going to be something I'm going to go look for. Are there enough people looking for that who have that problem? If there are, then great. Then it's probably going to sell, especially the tighter down you get and less competitive you get. So we do some testing on that front end so that we can really make sure that we are tapping into the audience right. The issue is that the cover needs to also be tested. And what I understand, and I knew this all along, is that running ads is going to be the best way to do that. So the books are important. The data is important. Let's dig in a little deeper and maybe you'll come back with some more questions, but we're going to be validating ideas to make sure there's a market for them. That's where the marketing comes in. I don't really do a lot of other marketing other than wanting to dig into the ads. Great question, Jean. Can you change the size from one size to another in Canva for the same book? You can if you have, I think you have to have the pro version. Totally worth it if you're doing this. It's like $12 a month or something. Yeah, but you can't change it once it's published on KDP. You can change it in Canva, but not on KDP. All right, we're going to do some validation. I want to talk about this. Validating ideas or themes, book ideas, is extremely important. The more you validate, like I said, the more opportunity you have for success in in the long run. And that's, you want to be successful, right? So the way that we validate, there's 4 steps, okay? 4 steps. We're going to go over them very quickly, and I'm already at the top of the hour, so I want to go over this. I'd love to do a little bit of over the shoulder. We'll do that for a few minutes, and then we'll finish up. And if you guys want to do more over the shoulder, we can do that after. So here's the 4 steps. Number 1, you always start with the search bar. Always start with the search bar. I'll show you why. Secondly, you're going to look at results. We're going to go through this, okay? You're going to look at results. If I were you, I would take a screenshot of this, okay? Results, you want to see that they're less than 3,000. That's how many, when you type in, you get a search term, you run a search, you're looking for something like chicken logs and chicken log books if you have chickens, and you want to see how many results come up in that search. That's going to tell you, how competitive is this? How many other books are there along these lines? I like to see less than 3,000 results. Your rank is going to help you understand. We'll talk more about this in a minute, but it's going to help you see the bigger picture. We're looking at average rank for that phrase for all the products that come up. And this is kind of hit or miss, but it does help give us an idea if there's any demand. If your rank is, in the millions, there's probably not a lot of people looking for this type of book or this phrase anyway. So you want to see less than 1 million average rank. Okay. And then reviews help us also understand more of how competitive that space is. We want to see that there's in those first 10 listings that come up when you do a search, that the first, there's 3 or 4 that have less than 50 reviews. The more reviews on a book means that the books have been around for a long time, and it's probably a more competitive niche. So this just helps us understand there's likely to be some space there for a new book in that market. Okay. So I'm going to do a little over the shoulder. This is recorded, and the recording will be made available for you guys. You'll hear from it. It'll be in the Facebook group. It'll be sent out via email, so you will get a copy or have access to it. Let's go here. All right. I want to confirm, can everybody see Amazon now on my screen? Okay, thank you. Sometimes the tabs don't carry over. Okay, so remember what I said. Number one, where are we going to start? We're going to start in that search bar. Okay, and this is so important because everything that you put here, when you guys know, when you go to Google and you type in something, it's going to start making suggestions. Those suggestions are based on what people are searching for. So this is our first indicator that there is some customers looking for these keywords. The keywords are going to be what the book is about or the problem that it solves. Okay, so let's, I mentioned chicken log. So let's go there. Chicken. So I want to just share what's happening here. First of all, not everybody teaches it this way. I say you do your search in across all of Amazon. Don't go to books. Some people say go to books. The reason I say to go to all is because I want to see this from a customer's perspective. And when I'm searching for a book or anything, I don't go to the category. I just go to the search bar and start typing. And if what I'm looking for isn't coming up, I keep typing. It takes a lot for me to get to the category. Am I the only one who does that? Or do any of you guys go to the categories, or do you just type in the search bar? Because I think most people type in the search bar. And so you're gonna go to all, and you're going to start typing in chicken. Let's say I'm thinking, all right, is there a market for a log book for people who keep chickens? Okay. Now, usually what happens is you just see this first column, sorry, here of suggested keywords or key phrases. I have a Chrome extension and it's free, and I'll share it in a minute, that expands this. And all this does is it's just more of what Amazon would suggest. Okay. It's if I said chicken for and added the word for, these phrases would come up. So it really is a time saver. I might get more than what just comes up here if I typed in for. But it helps me, it just lets me see more at once instead of taking the time to actually dig deeper. So what I'm looking for is anything here that is could be related to a KDP book. Now, someone said, spiral bound, leather bound, bookmarks, a pen holder, all of those are not they can't be a part of KDP books, but paperback and hardcover can. So anything that would fit there. Now, I don't really see anything. These are all, shredder, coop, feeder. But chicken, what if I started typing in log? So I'm just doing a little bit at a time to see what comes up. So I've got, I don't even know what a chicken lovey is. I'm not sure I want to. Maybe it's a toy. Chicken logbook, that comes up here. So I'm going to click on that. And now it's as if I had typed it in. Okay, I never want to type it all in. I want to let the search bar recommend, and then I can just click on it. So that's the first thing is the search bar. Secondly, you're looking at results. Here's the results. You want to see less than 3,000 results. So we have 512. That's good news. It passes that first R. Now I want to go to average rank and reviews. And I use a tool for that. I'm going to show you the tool I use is the Amazon Evaluator. It was actually created for me for this to make it easy. It has this little pass thing here. You can have it I don't know if you guys are familiar with other tools, but here you can do standard, private label, or bundling actually has the same criteria, and then 3 R's, and then if you wanted to use it for merch. But this, I don't know about the others other than standard. 3 R's is still relevant. So this gives me a thing right across the top. That green shows that it does pass. But the reason it passes is because that average rank is less than 1 million. Now this is for the whole page. This is the first 10. It really doesn't matter. Honestly, you're just trying to get a picture. Now, because this is so high, it might be borderline on this. So, but it still passes. So I would still move forward. an indicator here too, though, is there's not a lot of sales. That could be there's good space for a new book if I hit it different. So what is selling, right? That's where I would go. But the reason this passes is it's got less than 3,000 reviews. It has the sales rank is averaged less than 1 million, and it has 3 or 4, actually has 10. And those first 10 listings that come up, reviews are all 10 of them are less than 50. So this passes, and that means that the chicken logbook is a type of book that I would want to create. Okay, so now I might go, well, okay, I don't even know what chickens, like, what does that look like? And you just come down here and I would look at things. Actually, I'd go back to the what's selling. I'd look at the ones with the most reviews, or I'd look and see what's selling, which are probably the ones with the most reviews, right? And so 4 years of chicken record keeping log. Let's just click on that one. So I want to know, what does this look like? So I click on that sample, and this is what I was talking about before. You always have those first pages. So they're leaving money on the table. I'm just going to say they could build a brand around this and have their title page show up and build an email list, which they're not doing. Supplier contacts, year 1. My flock. I really know nothing about chickens. Okay, expenses month. It's going to be repeated pages. It'll probably be a few, 3 or 4 pages, and then it's repeated. So that helps me understand coop maintenance, health record, feed history. Okay, let's look at another one. This one here, egg sales record book. So that's different. So now I could go and look up egg sales and see what other, how does that even pass? But let's, in fact, let's do that. So I'm going to go back here because I want to go to the all, and let's look up egg sales. Okay, egg sales tracker, record book, ledger for kids. That's kind of fun. 13. There's no reviews on those. I don't think this is going to pass. It's only got 13. Usually when this number is really low, you want it to be low. It doesn't have the numbers to support it. No, it's not going to pass. Look at this. So it's way up in the millions. There's not enough demand for the kids, but let's look at egg sales record book. So this is over 3,000. That's too high for me. So I'm not interested in that. But there was another one, egg sales tracker. Okay, here we go. So egg sales tracker, that phrase gets less than 1,000 results, and it was still suggested. So I'm going to look here. Nope, doesn't look like there's going to be enough demand. There's not a lot with sales. Nope, this is still too high. If it was borderline, I'd probably move forward on it, but it's too high. Again, if you're like, I want to do this, I really want to do an egg sales tracker, mine will sell, because it was suggested, that there's some, traffic going to that key phrase. It doesn't cost you anything to get it started. So it's up to you, but it doesn't pass, so I wouldn't move forward with it. All right. Okay, you can publish on the .com, Amazon.com. I'm answering a question from anywhere. You just go to kdp.amazon.com to set up your account, and you can publish on any of there's like 10 platforms you can publish on, or 5. I don't know how many. There's more than 5. Australia. So you might not be able to be selling your book in New Zealand, but you could sell on the .com or on, any of the other ones that come up. Good question. All right, I'm going to finish up here. Let's go back to the slides, and then we can do more over the shoulder if you guys want to stick around. Okay. I do have a discount code for the Amazon Evaluator. Give me 1 second and I'll get it to you. I think it's Jenny KDP, but I meant to have that ready for you guys. So you can, let me look real quick. Yep, Jenny KDP drops the evaluator price. Let me get you the link too. Okay, first of all, I want to give you the link to the Amazon Suggested Expander. That is free. You're going to search for Amazon Suggestion Expander. Let's see here. I'm going to put this in the chat. This is that's the Pro you pay for. I have the first month 50% off on that, but this is for you can just get the free version. But the evaluator is amazing, and this is the link for that. You want to get these are Chrome extensions. Putting those in the chat. And that drops the price every month to $7.99. Okay. Already talked about some of this stuff. So one of the things I wanted to draw attention to is just the reality of those low content books, and the mid content books. And I kind of talked about that earlier because really, I think it's saturated. I've tried to pull away from just that volume, the volume play, where you get as many get 1,000 books up and 400 of them is going to sell, which they might. And then you have 400 books selling for you every month, which is awesome. But there's an easier way to do that. Okay. And that's what I'm so excited to really be preparing you guys for. This person that I'm partnering with actually, to bring her strategy to my audience is, to you guys, is about ads. And in this conversation, I asked her, what do we need to have in place before we can even learn how to use ads effectively? Now, she started with $47 with her first book and turned that $47 in ad spend into a six-figure income for her. So ads are valuable. You don't have to put a lot of money into them. But, excuse me, to prepare for ads and even to prepare for any market, any strategy is what I meant to say, that you're going to implement KDP for, whether it be bundling or brand building or partnering or just leveraging those interior pages too. You need to know how to get your books up on Amazon. So there's two things that she said you need, and one is a collection of books that are already listed on Amazon's KDP platform. You can't run ads unless you have a product to run ads to. So you got to have that collection of books, and that collection sits under an umbrella. So they're all going to be somewhat related, and what connects them, that umbrella, is going to be a validated niche or market. So what I just showed you is a validated niche, how to find a validated niche or a market. And then once you find a theme like chicken logbook, then you create a collection of books underneath that theme. They can all be chicken logbooks. Maybe you go to goat logbooks. In fact, I think I was playing around a little bit beforehand, and goat, I'm just going to give this to you. Goat record keeping logbook does pass the validation. So you could have a series where it's farm animals, logbooks for different animals. That would be a collection underneath a validated niche or market. Those are the two things that you need to be prepared for ads. And so what I'm doing, the thing is, guys, when we were traveling around, we really needed to have we needed a roadmap. And this was really important, because we like to explore and everything. But the problem when you're pulling something that's super tall, you really need a roadmap that's going to take you on the right route so that you don't get stuck. Um, one time we did not do this. We had an app that told us really where our trailer would fit, like where there weren't any bridges that were too small, there wouldn't be any overpasses that we couldn't get under. It was the route kind of designed for our setup. Well, this one time we got lost. It was a long story, and we didn't do that. So we get really close to where we're going to be in Texas. This was in a little town called Wimberley. I highly recommend a visit there. It's an adorable little quaint town. And we came in the wrong way. We didn't realize this, but it came down, and there was like this turn, and I was driving our second vehicle. My husband's driving and pulling the truck behind me. And I come around this turn, and there's this slime bridge. I should have put the picture here for that. That's straight in front. Like you have to do a really sharp turn to get onto the slime bridge. But you had a hairpin turn and then another really sharp turn, right angle turn to get onto the slime bridge, which is super narrow. They had thunderstorms earlier, so it was slimy and wet. And he had come around that turn and saw it too, and he was stuck. There was no backing up. We had to go forward and go through it. And if we had checked the app, which we did on all the other things, if we had really had our roadmap figured out, we would not have had that trouble. Where he was crossing, I didn't even want to look. I crossed, he was behind, and I'm seeing people in front of us go by staring, pointing with their windows down, yelling, he's not going to make it. My daughter's on the walkie-talkie telling him to stop. He's not going to make it, but there was no, he had to go. And one of the tires did dip in, and he just pulled it right across. He got it out and was able to get it across. So it was a little bit of drama. We could have avoided that, right? If we had checked the roadmap. And so I have put together, I haven't done a program like this before. We're going to take 4 weeks, and it's really your roadmap so that you're ready for ads, but it's also a roadmap that will help you be ready for any of those other strategies as well. It's 4 weeks. We're going to meet on Thursdays, every Thursday in the month of March. We start this Thursday. The first couple of weeks we're going to be focusing on, I want everybody to be successful with this. I want to help you make sure you're moving to action. That's so important to me. So everyone, I want you to, by the end of the first couple of weeks, you're going to have a niche and a market that you have validated, and you're ready to move in to build your collection of books. And then the last couple of weeks, we're going to build that collection together. I want to have some templates for you that you can work on to make it easier and or quicker, and maybe you like building your own. And then I will also help you have a roadmap to implementing these other strategies that we talked about. But our focus is going to be to get your market and niche figured out and a collection of 5 or more books underneath that market by the end of our 4 weeks together. I know it can be done. We did 10 books in 10 days. We can do 5 books in 4 weeks, okay? But I want to make sure everybody has the time to, you'll have a week in between each call. We'll be in a private Facebook group where you can ask questions anytime. All the replays of the calls will be posted in the group. So if you can't make it, it's fine. You can still, go there. The training will be available through videos, not just on those calls. So lots going on for the month of March. And then in April, I'm going to be talking about this program, the KDP ad boot camp that I'm going to be doing. If you already have a collection of books in a validated niche, you're ready to go. You probably don't need this KDP lab. And you might want to jump into the ads. In fact, I highly recommend it. She has a proven system. I'm so excited to learn it with you, actually. And it's exactly what I've been looking for. And rather than me learn it and try to teach it, I'm bringing her to teach you guys, and I can learn too. So this is what's going on. If you want to sign up, it's $197, but I have a coupon for you. It's at 10booksin10days.com. You'll see all the details of what we're going to talk about and go over. And again, you're going to end up with a validated niche or market. We will do this together, and you're going to have 5 or more books underneath that market. We're going to help you get there. Okay, do everything we can. The coupon code to drop the price down is drop50. So it drops $50. And again, it's a whole month worth. It's pretty much probably as close as you're going to get to KDP coaching that I offer. I don't do one-on-one. So I am committed to getting you guys what you need there. So everything, again, it's on, we start Thursday. I forget the time. I think it's going to be, I think it's 7:30 Central. Look on the page, I forget, but 10booksin10days.com, coupon is drop50. Okay. I'm going to go back to, yeah, Wendy, you know what? I agree. It'd be hard to get 1,000 books up. Well, it would take 10 months, right? Because you get 100, almost 100 a month if you can only do 3 books a day. But with ads, you don't need to get 1,000 books up. You're going to get data quickly to tell you whether or not your books are performing and connecting with an audience. So if you have 3 books you're running ads against and that covers are all different, you're basically testing covers. You'll see what people, which one of those 3 is connecting before you would get a whole bunch of books up and hope that some of them get to see them and that they really do pull up. Ads are going to get them right in front of your audience quicker. So it kind of takes that big volume out of the picture, which is, I'm so excited about it. Sessions will be recorded. They're going to all be made available in a private Facebook group. There's also additional training videos that will be in that group too. So not all of we won't be able to cover all the training on the Thursday nights. They're going to be meetings, not webinar style like this. It will be meetings where we are really working together to get your books up. So you're going to have your own books. So that's what we're doing. And let's see, let me do the questions here. Yep, this is recorded and those will be recorded. And I think I answered everything else. So you got the discount for the Amazon Evaluator. Okay. All right. So who do we have? Let's see here. Oh, most of you guys stuck around. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. All right. So do you guys, I'm going to leave this up to you. I have a hard stop in I have about 10 more minutes. So if you want to do a little bit more over the shoulder, I'll show you some things that I found earlier. And you could actually get some key phrases already validated for you that you could run with. There's not a ton of people on here, although this recording is going to be made available. I'll cut this part off. How's that? So you guys are the only ones who would get that. I'll just do, if you want to stick around, let me know. Some people are popping off. And we'll do some more validating. All right, let's do it. Okay. Remember I said the chicken logbook. So chicken logbook passed. Let's go back to that because let's see here. What I do sometimes is I'll go through here. So this is chicken logbook. It passed. We already went through all of that. Sorry, Jonathan. Yes, there is. It's up in the chat. It is Jenny KDP, Jenni KDP. That drops the Amazon Evaluator price to $7.99 from $17 a month. Okay, since you started with chicken logbook, I wonder about other, yep, 4-H, yep. So, or farm animals. So chicken logbook, this one, we already found passes, but what I'll do sometimes, well, this brings up chicken record keeping logbook. So you could see if record keeping, adding that in there passes. We look here, it's got less than 3,000 results. It passes that first R. I'm gonna run the Amazon Evaluator. You guys, just so you know, I didn't mention this already, but Helium 10 has a free trial for something very similar to the Amazon Evaluator if you want to kind of goof around with that. It's called X-Ray, and it is also a Chrome extension. Okay, it's been a while since I've looked, but from what I understand, they still have a free trial. It's a little more complicated. Okay, so chicken record keeping logbook does not pass. It's close, but it doesn't pass. So that's not a good one. But let's look at sometimes I'll go down here and I'll see different ideas. And one of the things that kind of got me, I did this right before just to see this idea of raising chickens. So what if there was a raising chickens something or other? Sometimes just starting helps me get into something I never thought I'd get into. So raising chickens for beginners, I think that was that book right there. Raising chickens for kids, I wonder. Okay, so then I'm like, let's go. Okay, so we have 945, less than 3,000. It passes there. We want to see that the rank is less than 1,000,000. Looks like it's gonna be. Yep. And our reviews. So this looks really good. It's got 5. Some of the books, the beginner's guide. So that's a guide. So if you know what you're doing, it's not really a log book or anything along those lines, but that's generating $3,700 a month. Beginner's guide. So this passes, raising chickens for kids. You could certainly put a logbook in here using this key phrase. Okay. But what got me too, we got the raising is backyard chickens. So I wonder like backyard animals or something along those lines. Backyard Chicken Keeper's Bible. 110 results. That's obviously the name of a book that people are looking for. 110 results. Looks like this is going to pass. So Wendy, you have no clue for interior pages for animals. I totally get that. And that's why, so this passes. Backyard Kitchen Keeper's Bible. This, that's why I'll go in and go, okay, what actually, that's a hard, I'm just trying to get actually well, we did that already when we looked at the interior of the other chicken logbook, because I wouldn't know, I don't have chickens. So look at the insides and see what's there. Don't copy it, but you can pull, oh, they have these things in this one, they have these things they cover in this one, make a list and make your own, right? You use their success and what they have as inspiration for what you're going to do. So if they're going to do chickens, I had mentioned the goat. So let's see if people have a goat log. Yeah, a goat logbook. Oh wait, there was another one. Goat record keeping logbook. Again, I would have no idea what goes in here, but if you look at the sample, number of goats, name of goats, goat information, their breed, registration number, association, their pedigree, medical information, parasite control. I bet this is actually for a lot of different animals. I don't know what a lot of these things are. I don't know what freshening is. Anyway, those are just repeated for each goat. So they sell that for $11.95. Let's go back and see if it's even passed. So goat logbook was our search, has less than 3,000 results. So then we're going to go up here. No good validation for, okay, I'm going to say pecan because that's how we say it, but I don't know how they say it here in Arkansas. Pecan logbook. Okay, so goat logbook, again, it's kind of on the fence because this is over 1 million, but there's still space. And since it's free, I would, if you have goats and you're passionate about this, I would go in and see. I'd probably go to these first 4 in particular, and see what they're including and see how they're different from the others. So I can have inspiration for my interior pages. Okay, since we're talking about animals, what about like a puppy journal? I don't know what you would put in that, but let's see. Look at that. We've got less than, okay, so this is what Amazon does, right? Over 2,000, but it's less than 3,000. So if it said over 3,000, it wouldn't qualify, but that validates there. Now these are all mostly, looks like journals or composition books with puppies on them. Puppy journal, the day-to-day life of your puppy. So that's kind of what I was going for. Puppy training, my puppy journal. I saw one thing and it was a puppy baby book. I mean, dogs are such a big thing right now. So puppy journal, let's see if it passes the rest of the way. You know what, any of these, honestly, Tony, that's a good point. Any of these could be a good partnership with a vet. Absolutely. Okay, so puppy journal doesn't pass. The reason it doesn't pass, the rank looks good. It's too competitive. It's got the reviews. It doesn't have 3 or 4. It's pretty close with this one only having 1 review. So these numbers obviously aren't perfect because this says it has no monthly revenue, but it has 1 review. So it has been making sales. Anyway, so puppy journal, is there something more we can do? Just clicking there opens this up again. So let's look at puppy journal for kids. We got 719 results. That looks like it's going to pass. So puppy journal for kids. And honestly, you might go through here and go, okay, these are just lined journals with puppies on the front. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to create that. You can create like a baby book sort of a thing for kids to write in about their puppy and it would show up here for this key phrase. And that might actually be what people are looking for. And so don't think just because what's showing up here that doing something a little different that is aligned with that phrase, that actually might meet the needs. It might be a gap that you're finding, okay? A market gap or a golden gap. Most of these are just the books with puppies on them. My New Puppy, a record and journal golden doodle book. See, look, I mean, there is a market for that. Let's see what they do. And okay, so I should make a note about this. In the class, if somebody could do a puppy or a dog baby book type of a collection, this find some keywords that are passing like we are doing. You could have a golden doodle version, you could have a pug version, you could have all these versions, and really the only thing that changes is your cover, right? So you're hitting a specific, you can have a German Shepherd version. and then just have a generic one. So you can have easily 5 books that are a collection, very similar, but different. They all hit a different audience within the larger audience of the puppy guidebook. Does that make sense? So let's see what these pages look like in here. This book belongs to an awesome dog called Table of Contents, how to use this book, about me, breed, birthday. Guys, this is Canva. This is just made in Canva. Preparing at the shop, what you need. You can make a checklist, planning at home. Okay, and then on the back cover, it shows a picture of all the interior pages. That's how you do it. So that one's selling for 10 bucks and it's Golden Doodle. I wonder, so Hound House journals, I wonder if they have other breeds. Yep. Perfect. Look at that. You could do the same thing, do a different cover, make your interior different. And they don't have a competitor. I didn't see another competing book that was similar, and do a whole spread. Same interior pages. Cool. I didn't see that before. Okay. Let's go to another niche. I got to get off in just a minute. Daphne, good question. Let's do this one here. Gardening. Whoops, I'm going into Amazon. I mean, Google. Here's where I want to be. Gardening. So gardening, tracker, journal, we see planner and logbook. 20,000 results. That's too high. Let's go back. Well, they added 2024. We could see if that, let's put a T for, like, see if we can get a tracker. Garden. Don't see anything. Garden planner and logbook. Over 10,000. Okay, you know what we can do is look down here too. Sometimes it helps. Oh, vegetable gardener book, like, 5-year garden journal complete. Somebody had asked, let me go back up here. If you could just go through the alphabet. I saw the question. I don't see it now. And you totally can do that. So, okay, this is a health record. Guys, another one is bees, right? The beekeeper. Whoops, look at this. I'm in books. That's my problem. Let me go up to all. Let's try garden again. I'm like, things are not coming up. Gardening. I thought I saw tracker. That's why I'm trying to find it. There we go. So gardening tracker is suggested. 588. I think this one passes. Yeah, you could totally do garden A, garden B, that to find it. So garden tracker does pass. I find that honestly, like going down, looking through the books really helps me get new ideas, because I'll be like, there's nothing else. And there always is. There's millions of ideas. So you're absolutely right. You could do garden A and see what comes up. And does anything match a garden pop-up book? Can't do that, but garden planners, right? Didn't we already do that? 10,000. So then you could go garden B and see what comes up to any niche. You could even go to you could do weekly A. Weekly B. You could do 52 weeks of A, 52 weeks of B, and 52 weeks of Bible quotes, 52 weeks of Bible study, 52 weeks of C, 52 week savings challenge. I don't know. So you could go through 52 weeks of date nights, and then you could have a date night journal. I don't know. Validate it. It passes here, 135. All right. So Daphne, so this looks like it's going to pass. 52 weeks of date nights. All right. There's a lot you can do with that. Okay, Daphne asked, collecting emails, growing email list on the title page. Yeah, so when you come into any book here, let's just do this one. This is a box. It's not gonna work. That's not a book. So a lot of these aren't even books. A book would be nice. Scratch off. Okay, let me go to garden planner. There could be room here for a journal underneath that key phrase. Garden, what did I say, tracker? Gardening tracker. Okay, so if I was wanting to build out a brand in the gardening niche, and in that market space, and maybe I had some courses, maybe I even had products, some seeds that I was selling, whatever. And I wanted, whatever reason, I wanted to build an email list and build out an audience and a brand beyond just books, even. I would go and make sure, actually anybody should be doing this. So you go here, click on any of these books, and I'll show you. If you go to read sample, it always gives you the title page. Let me stretch this a little bit. So they have table of contents, introduction. So they didn't even put a title page in this one. So they're like losing. What they should do here is have a title page, and that title page should have an incentive of some sort. You know, get a printable, get a checklist for this summer's garden planning, and then you have your opt-in, your landing page, and as a link or a QR code, and there it goes. We're doing this right now. I'm not sure if I want to share this because I'm waiting for I'm going to show you anyway. We're doing right now we're doing this mom's. It just got published and I'm waiting for some things to come through. It's a mom's story, family memories. Let's see if I can find it here. Here, this book, I just published it. And if you go to read sample, there's a QR code. Snag our free conversational cards at bonus.mymemorymakerclub.com, or you can scan the QR code. And that takes them to, so if I go to this bonus.mymemorymaker.com, club.com. Yes, let's get the conversation started. You put your name and your email, and then you get a downloadable pack of 54 conversation cards. Okay, so now we are building a list of people who want to preserve or want to make family memories, and we're building out a product line around that. That's a brand. So QR codes you can do in Canva. It's really easy. You just search in the images QR codes. In the class, guys, you'll have access to the training for Canva, but if you've taken the 10 books in 10 days class or any of the classes I've offered before, you still have access to that training. But you just put it in Canva, and then there's an option to connect a link to that QR code, and then it's connected to it. So Canva does QR codes. It's super easy. So that's how you would use another. What's the Jimmy Smith does his? I'm so glad he did this. Side hustle. So on his paperback version, Side Hustle to Full-Time Income, Jimmy Smith, this is about selling on Amazon. If you go to his sample, read sample, and scroll. So right here, this is his title page. This is where I think he should have this, but on the back of it is also the page, the publishing information. Those two pages are always shown. So on the back of his title page, okay? But even so, just coming in, doing the read sample, download the free audiobook. Read this first. To say thank you for downloading my book, I would like to give you the audiobook version 100% free. Do you guys understand? I'm not buying his book for $34.99. I am looking to see what's inside of it, and I see he's assuming I download it. I'm sure he knows this is his strategy. I know Jimmy. I know he knows this is his strategy to build an email list and to connect with people who are interested in this topic. So he's offering the audiobook for free if you go to askjimmysmith.com/audiobook. Anybody can go to Amazon and get this. He's building an email list, harnessing Amazon's traffic, and he really doesn't care if they're buying his book, because that long-term relationship on the email, it's a whole marketing strategy with email marketing and all of that, is way more valuable. So this real estate, this title page and the page right behind it inside the book are incredibly valuable, and most people don't take advantage of it, regardless of what strategy you want to use. If you're partnering, if you're just doing low content books, if you're having a whole collection of books, you might want to check into building out an email list from people who are interested in that, and you can serve them differently. And that's a whole nother topic. Would love to do a course on that if there's enough interest. I do talk about branding and building a brand and how to do this, but the long term, how do you build a strategy on that? We could dig into that. But that's people do not take, authors don't take advantage of this at all. And it is honestly, it's money sitting on the table. The Amazon's giving you a front door right into their audience. Okay. Yeah, isn't it mind-blowing? Uh-huh. It changes everything. So, okay, guys, I gotta run. I have a place I gotta be. But thank you so much for joining me. And I would love to have you again on those, in the 10 books in 10 days. And just go to, actually, it's KDP Lab, but I'm using the same URL. So 10booksin10days.com. Use that coupon, drop 50. That's going to be good up until the course. We start this Thursday. So a lot of people I know have already bought in and are waiting. I open up the doors the day before. So I'm getting people saying, wait a minute, I'm still pending. Yes, you are. And so is everybody else who wants to come in. But go to 10booksin10days.com. We're going to spend a month together. My goal is for every single person in that class to have a niche and to have 5 books published underneath a collection of books underneath that market by the end of our time together. I would love to see that, and I'm going to bend over backwards to make that happen for you. So would love to have you guys join us. Okay. So we start again on Thursday. All the details are at 10 books in 10 days. Use that coupon code. Make sure you hit apply. Okay. You put in the coupon code and hit apply, or it won't apply it. And it'll drop the price $50. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great week and hope to see you on Thursday.